My name's Niruba. Lily is my Chinese name. I'm Canadian, but I live in Norway, and my parents, they are Sri Lankan Tamil, so I have a lot of cultures in me. So during the start of this epidemic, I was actually traveling in China. I think I was in Chongqing when when it really started coming in the news and becoming a serious thing. And then I ended up going to South Korea and Japan for 2 weeks. And when I came back to China, everything was changed. Everything was very different. In February, when we came back from Japan, we took a plane to Shanghai, and we took a train from Shanghai to Nanjing. And we had been to Shanghai's train station before, and it's always super full. There's always lots of people there. And this was at the end of the Chinese New Year, so it should have been lots of people there too, when we first came there. But there was almost no one there. It was so crazy to see. When we came to Nanjing, there was so much security. There was no one in the streets. Obviously, people were taking precautions to keep the virus contained. Nanjing never had that many cases, so you can see that the people were really trying to keep inside. It was just so surreal. And now in March, and April actually, it's been so different. There's people in the streets. People have gone back to work. Universities are starting again. It's completely different. The streets are bustling. There's so much energy now. Even bars and clubs have started to open again. Restaurants are opening again. It's just completely different from February. So, for example, a few weeks ago I went to Xuanwu Park. It was just me and my friend went there to look at the cherry blossoms, and we thought there wouldn't be that many people there. When we were on the subway, there were a lot of people, but not that much. But then we went out and we started walking towards the park, and it was so crazy. There were so many people. I haven't seen this many people since before the epidemic, since December. It was just so crazy seeing so many people enjoying themselves. People were taking off their masks to have picnics in the park. People were walking. People were working out and jogging. Something you see a lot in China are these old ladies who work out in groups, and there was even one of those groups there. It had been such a long time since I've seen one of those, so it was so sweet. And also places like Purple Mountain, it's so beautiful because the cherry blossoms are in bloom, and so many people are going with their families and with their kids to look at the flowers and enjoy the scenic areas again. I think Asia, compared to Europe and America, has experienced things like these sicknesses more often, or in more recent times. So the people, first and foremost, were super serious about this. I think I see a lot of places in other countries, a lot of people are going out and not really listening to the government always, which I understand because it's difficult when someone takes that away from you. But I think the people here in Nanjing and in China really understood that this is serious, and in Asia in general, and really stayed at home. They listened to what they were supposed to. They kind of did what they were, told to do, and stayed at home. Some other measures that were taken was that we have an app called WeChat, where we had to list up our temperature every day. And you got a QR code. Sometimes if you're out and walking about, they would scan that to know if you're healthy or not. So they were very strict about here, which is understandable because it's a very serious illness. So due to these measures, and just they're always checking your temperature. Before we went to the supermarket, they would check our temperature. Before we went on the subway, they would check our temperature to make sure that no one was out here trying to spread the sickness or unknowingly spreading the sickness. And that, combined with the people's willingness to stay inside all the time, that really helped prevent it from spreading that much. When we first came from Shanghai, we only had to do this one time actually. When we first came to Shanghai, they had a registry where we had to write our name, where we were coming from, the flight number, the train number, everything. They were very strict about it. I'm not the best at Chinese, and they only spoke Chinese, so it was a little difficult at first, but we came through it, we got through it. It wasn't too, in the end we got through it, it wasn't the end of the world having to do this. It was just extra precautions to make sure everyone is safe. there are a lot of old people, and at least in my community, there's a lot of old people, and we want to make sure they're safe. If I got the sickness, I would most likely not. It would not be that serious for me, but it's about helping. It's about everyone else, you know. It's a group effort because we don't want anyone to get hurt and anyone to get sick. I think that Nanjing did a really good job, and Jiangsu did a amazing job at keeping the sickness at the minimum. They were like, when we first came to Nanjing, they were very strict about when we first came, they were very strict that we tell where we came from, every single train number, flight number. I feel like they took it very seriously from the get-go. They didn't slack off. The authorities here were actually really good at making sure that everyone was being honest, that everyone was telling the truth. I can't speak for other cities, but I know from experience that Nanjing did a really good job.